Andrea Magana-Lewis, and I am joining you today on behalf of the Ohio Opioid Education Alliance. We are a coalition of business, government, and nonprofit entities from all across Ohio that have come together to help in the opioid crisis. We're very grateful to our partners, the Drug-Free Clubs of America, as a committed partner in our mission, and we will be collaborating with them on a monthly basis to host Facebook Live events that provide parents, caregivers, and mentors with helpful opioid misuse prevention tips. So to kick off this collaboration, I am joined today by Kristen Rost of the Nationwide Foundation. The Nationwide Foundation, together with the Franklin County Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board, have led the Alliance's efforts pretty much since its inception. So hi, Kristen. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me today.
Great. Can you talk a little bit about how the Ohio Opioid Education Alliance came to be?
Yeah, I definitely can. So, it started out really organically. We actually did some research as we were putting together the Don't Live in Denial Ohio campaign and found out that, the best way to deliver a message such as don't use opioids and talk to your kids is through an alliance, a group of diverse individuals. People are more willing to listen to individuals and organizations that don't have a lot to gain. And so as a result of that, Nationwide joined together with a couple partners to put together the Ohio Opioid Education Alliance. So the Columbus Foundation and the Adam H. Board of Franklin County and Nationwide and one of our corporate partners, AEP, came together and formed the alliance. So we started out really small and then have over the year and a half really been growing. We have almost 100 members now, and Andrea mentioned earlier that they're a collection of nonprofit organizations, of government entities, of different corporations, and of trade associations. And the first thing that the Alliance did is put together the Don't Live in Denial campaign. It's an award-winning campaign, and it's I think one of the pieces that make the campaign so successful and award-winning is that it really gets you to stop and think. People, you start to wonder, wait, that could be my town, or that could be me, or I know people who have said those exact same things. And so I think that's one of the reasons that the Don't Live in Denial campaign has been so successsul.
Definitely. And now we find ourselves in the midst of a pandemic, and, what have you seen, and, what has the Opioid Education Alliance experienced as far as the impact that COVID is having right now on the opioid crisis in Ohio and across the country?
Yeah. I think you can say with a lot of things, COVID has really uncovered and made us all realize that there is some different issues that need to be addressed. And the one thing that COVID has done is you see a rise in drug and alcohol use. I think people are using substances to cope, to self-medicate. Times have been really stressful, and people are kind of looking for a way to release some of that stress. And unfortunately, some of the things that people are choosing are drug and alcohol use. Franklin County alone has experienced a 65% overdose death increase in the first 6 months of 2020. And we're seeing similar trends across the whole state of Ohio. And so we can talk about some of the added stressors of COVID, the isolation, decreased access to medical treatment, the challenge in finding distractions, have all led to people trying to kind of escape and misuse, I should say, substances.
Definitely. And so how is the Alliance kind of adapting its, marketing efforts then to, be more aware of what's going on with the pandemic? And, along those lines, then, where does the Alliance go from here in 2021?
Yeah, I think, the two main calls to action of the Alliance and the campaign have been to talk to your kids about opioids. So kids are 50% less likely to use drugs if a trusted adult talks to them about the dangers of drugs. And it's not it's not a one-time conversation, right? It's repeated conversations about don't use substances. And you can start when kids are really small. I have young kids, and we already are having the conversation with the daily vitamin that I give them. And so talking about how it looks like candy and it tastes good, but this is medicine, and you can only take it from, mommy or daddy, and you can only take two. My kids would take the whole bottle if they could because it tastes so good. And so, starting out, that conversation that you can only take medication that's prescribed to you, you can only take the amount that's prescribed to you, and then obviously the conversation will change over time as your child matures. But so but that talking to your kids and talking to them often and consistently is very important. And then the second piece of the campaign is to safely dispose of prescription medications in the household. And so those two calls to action are still definitely relevant with COVID, that we still want people to talk to their kids, maybe now more than ever, right? Now that we're all together. And because we're all together and um, kind of, I don't want to indoors together and in spaces, we need to make sure that we're safely disposing of our medication, that we're not shoving it in the medicine cabinet and gonna, maybe pull it out later if in case I get hurt again or something. Because we have more people around who are bored, and we talked about some of the stressors of COVID, who might be looking for an escape, and it may go through the medicine cabinet and experiment. So now more than ever, we feel our calls to action are more relevant. But the other piece that COVID made apparent to us is the mental health issues. So as we've all as our lives have changed and been, suddenly and abruptly changed, kids especially have had to pivot quickly, and that's hard. And so one day you're in school with all of your friends, and the next day you're at home learning virtually and you can't see your friends. And so, we've seen a huge increase in mental health issues and the substance misuse brought on by the pandemic. And so we have created at the Alliance new PSAs that address both of those pieces, that they address the substance misuse and the underlying mental health issues. So while we still want you to talk to your kids about drugs and dangers of opioids, as well as safely disposing, we also encourage you to have important conversations with your kids about mental health and mental health in general, and healthy ways to relieve stress, and not turning to prescription opioids or prescription drug medications. We are also looking, to expand our partnerships statewide. And so through our social media channels, we are reaching all of Ohio, but are looking to take on, to grow those 100 members, to bring more members across Ohio into the Alliance. And, I'd encourage everyone out there right now, listening right now, to go to don'tliveinDenial.org. There's a lot of resources that are on that website, don'tliveinDenial.org. You can learn about our coalition. You can learn how to connect with us. You can, if you're a parent or caregiver out there wondering, well, how can I talk to my kids? There's resources there that let you know how to talk to your kids and have some of those difficult conversations.
Definitely. And on the screen right now is our Facebook handle. So for anyone watching right now, follow us on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest as well. Our other Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest handles are at Ohio Opioid EDU. But if you're also listening right now or tuning in later, if you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to post them on the chat below. Or if you prefer to ask something anonymously, you can use the Contact Us button on drugfreeclubs.com. And we'll be sure to answer your questions on the Facebook Live the following week. So, Kristen, thank you so much for joining me today to talk about the important work, of the Alliance. And we had a blast with our Facebook Live kickoff with the Drug-Free Clubs of America, and we really look forward to connecting with everyone again next month. And in the meantime, if you have any topics you'd like us to discuss, just let us know. And again, visit don'tliveinDenial.org for more information. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.